Welcome, everybody, back to the Fire Talk podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Padres' updated playoff odds. So apparently, the Padres are now, and this is before Tuesday night's game. The Padres are at a 16.9% playoff chance. Now, Chase, what website was that from that you got that information from? Was it Fancrafts?
No, it was a Baseball Reference off Twitter. They ran 1,000 simulations, and Padres made the playoffs 16.9% of the time, which it's not too encouraging. The Phillies and Braves were ahead of them. I think the Phillies were at, let me pull this up. The Phillies had a 25.4% chance, and the Reds had nearly a 70% chance. So it looks like they have the Reds taking the second wild card spot, which, it kind of makes sense with their strength of schedule compared to ours. We play a lot of top-end teams. They still play the Pirates a ton. So just looking off strength of schedule, it's kind of understandable to see why they have the Reds over us.
Yeah, and Javier, I'll go to you because me and Isaac we talked about this in the live stream last night. And me and Isaac, when we were just guessing off the top of our heads, this was before last night, so they were a game and a half back. The Reds were about to lose, I think. And now, when we're recording this, the Padres are half a game back. But me and Isaac said like 30 to 40% chance is what we thought. So a little bit, about double this. But Javier, what are your thoughts right now? And what kind of number would you think?
I kind of like that take, actually, because I guess the way I feel about it is the most non-analytical way to go about it, in my mind at least, is just kind of like there are very few players aside from Musgrove, Cronenworth, and probably Tatis when he's played. Granted, he was out for a while after the injury on just to make the trade deadline that more painful. He of course gets hurt that day. That like I guess you can hope that there has to be some positive regression. It's not like guys have to start going absolutely crazy ham baloney, but if you just expect guys like Tommy Pham to hit maybe one RBI, that would be great. With guys on base, I would really appreciate that. Tommy Pham, he is, I'm not even kidding, the worst player at all of baseball right now in terms of runners in scoring position. I think his WRC plus is like 28 right now. That's lovely. So maybe if he just starts to be average, if guys like Machado start kicking it up again, maybe he has like a really great September, which he's certainly capable of. He's had a very good season, but he hasn't had that like Herculean stretch where he's like, I'm the best player in baseball or whatever. Tatis has had it. Heck, even Jake Cronenworth has had moments like that. I think, remember when Cronenworth had like 5 home runs in 6 games? That was so much fun. Remember when this team was good? That was a lot of fun too. So I just think that if you expect just guys to be average, that Chris Paddock is just average like he was last night or whenever this is coming out, 2 nights ago, his first start back from the IL, like we're 4 2/3, it's fine. Like that's an average starter. We're hoping that we don't have Ryan Weathers type of guys anymore. We don't have Tommy Pham guys anymore. As long as you have average guys, you have the superstars in place to carry that over the top and hopefully make it. But then again, they play a lot of good teams, and the Giants aren't going anywhere. I think that's been official for a while now. They are 100,000 million cajillion % legit. I would not be surprised if they make it to the World Series, the NLCS, whatever. But the bigger problem is that the Reds don't have much of a schedule, right? You just mentioned they have a ton against the Pirates. I know that they're the Reds and that they could have moments where they drop these really easy games, seemingly, despite the fact that their roster is really solid all across the board, with the exception of Suarez, probably. He randomly forgot how to hit this year. I'm hoping that I agree. I think it'd be a little bit higher, but I'd go like only marginally higher. Like I'm gonna go like 23, something like that. Shout out MJ. I would just go 23% around that range, just because with everything I mentioned, with guys just not showing up, maybe they overperformed in the first half. I hope that there's some positive regression, but at the same time, dude, how are we expecting to beat the Dodgers when you can't beat Arizona soundly, when you can't beat Colorado soundly? No offense to those teams that much. I don't have any gripes against the teams, but they're not very good. So I don't really know what happened to the Padres. I would be curious, though, if they become a team that's like below 500, just imagine that for a second. If they finish below 500, I would be very curious to see if they actually, I don't know if they were going to do this beforehand, but if they pull the trigger and are like, we're getting another new manager, that's totally possible. So I would love to see like where this ranks on all time collapses if they do end up finishing below 500, I think.
Go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah. I was looking at what Chase sent us earlier, and I just thought 69% compared to the Padres' 17% was absurd. When you say 17% or 16%, whatever it is, like they're making it seem like we're like 5-6 games back, and that's just not the case. We're half a game back. The Reds' game was postponed today, so we have a chance if we win today to be tied with the Reds. Not mentioning we have a game with the Braves that still hasn't been finished, which would be another half game or possibly a full game. So that might loom large. I would probably give this team. What did I say yesterday, Matt? Like 30?
So I said 30 to 35. You said 35 to 40, but we were like really close, and like our reasoning was pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, because I mean, like, yeah, the strength of schedule is hard, and it seems like this past month or so, the Padres have completely forgotten how to play baseball. However, they're still, they still got all the talent in the world. We got guys coming back from injury. Chris Paddock looked great yesterday. I know he only pitched 4 2/3, but Chase, Matt, and I all agreed he could have gone that last out at the least, because he did look really good. And before he got hurt, he had some pretty good outings as well. So, and he's our number 4. So you got Joe Musgrove, who's a top 10 pitcher in baseball right now. You got Blake Snell looking like, I mean, we said it. We think he's going to have a kind of like an all-star break bounce back, where after the all-star break, he's just going to be great. And he's doing it right now. Yu Darvish now just has to come around. Now, if Yu Darvish comes around, and I know it's been a struggle for him since the sticky stuff went away and everything, and that's kind of why I'm not crazy about Victor Caratini anymore, because I feel like, well, you're basically dead weight on the roster. You're only here because you know all the pitches. So if Darvish is able to come back to form even a little bit, I think this Padres team has a much better chance than people think. And I know that we do play the Dodgers, we do play the Giants a lot, but I think Musgrove and Snell at least can definitely do great things against the Dodgers and the Giants. And if Darvish and Paddock are able to come around, I think they'll be able to do some pretty good things too. And that now it's just up to the lineups to be able to have that hot stretch in September that they had in June, where, sweeping the Dodgers, sweeping the Reds, just overall having really good at-bats, bringing runners in, doing great with runners in scoring position. Regarding Tommy Pham, you bring up that runners in scoring position stat. Dude, I saw it earlier. It is abysmal. I don't know how you can bat him anywhere but leadoff. So all in all, I think 16% is way too low. I still have confidence that this team can do it. I wouldn't give them high odds, but of course there's a chance. The Reds just lost 2 or 3 in a row, I believe. And so, now is a good time for the Padres to start capitalizing on their talent.
So I am going to disagree with you guys. I honestly think the Padres' playoff chances are like 20%. We may have gotten the pitching back, but Tingler still wants to throw Arrieta every 5th game, which he's probably just Ryan Weathers, but right-handed and older, if not a little worse. And then on the other aspect, it's like the Padres hitters got monstered because they just forgot how to hit, like, completely. The only person that is hitting above 260 and had probably over a 320 on base percentage in the past 15 games is Will Myers. Everybody else is below 260. Pham is hitting 141 in his past 30, like an abysmal 111 in his past 15. Frazier's down in the 110s, 2 in his last 15. Machado's hitting 241. Tatis is hitting 250. His slugging is probably higher just because Tatis, when he does hit, it's usually like a clutch double or bomb. Machado kind of lost his power. We could probably attribute that to a little bit of shoulder injury I believe he had during the Dodgers series. You can see that it was bothering him. Cronenworth right now in his last 15, 179. All of our key hitters are cold, and I mean cold. The only one that's really hitting right now are Hosmer, Myers, and you can say Tatis because, he's starting to come around again. Outside of those, we have 5 empty holes, and then the pitcher spot, which is very, hey, it worked out yesterday. Paddock put down a beautiful bunt, move a guy to first for a bunt single, and then Grisham, got a bunt single, but when you have these guys slumping the way that they do, and when you're going to play the talent that you're going to play in the next month, it's really hard to say, like, yeah, I can see our guys coming around when they're as cold as they are.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And just so you guys know, because I think that me and Isaac are higher than most people. I also think there were some people that thought that they had a lot higher chance than even we did. I think that our reasoning behind it was this. They did win yesterday, but they have this 3-game stretch against Arizona, and I get that they have not played Arizona well, and they have not they haven't stepped up to the plate when they're playing against bad competition. But it's still a game that they should win, that they need to win, and they need to take care of business, and they are a talented enough team to do so. And our point was, look, you have 3 games against Arizona, then you have a 5-game homestand against Houston and the Angels. If you go 6+ wins in that series, you're in a really good spot. Because if you look at the record the Padres need, I said 19-12 gets them to the playoffs potentially. Like that's the record I was thinking. And Isaac said 21-10. I want to say. I think it was 21-10. They've got to win, so it'd be 20-10, and then it'd be 18-12 for right now. If they win 6 of the next 7. And I get that this is a hypothetical, but if they win 6 of the next 7, they're in a pretty good spot. They barely have to play 500 baseball. That stretch of Dodgers, Giants, Cardinals on the road, if you just go 500, you're actually in a pretty good spot, because then you have the Giants at home, and then you have the Braves, and you have a game where you just need 2 shutout innings. That's all you need. Just please get that done also. But you have a chance where you can start making up some ground here. And I get that the Red Zone have the best schedule, but they're slumping right now heavy. And they were so hot. Like, they've been riding Winker. Now Votto. Votto has put on like an MVP level second half. He has been absurd. He won Player of the Month in one of the months. Like, he has just been on a tear. And it seems like they're slowing down a little bit. You don't have to be perfect. 19-12, that record is a 61% winning percentage. That's a good spot to be at for the end of the year. So they just got to get hot. That's my thought. Is it a guarantee it's going to happen? No. Had they been playing bad? Absolutely. Like, I'm not arguing that. But I do think a lot of the pitching's coming back, and that's what we were talking about. We were talking about the pitching reinforcements. I think that coming back does, bring a little jolt. And honestly, just hoping that we see some more consistent lineups. And like, I don't know who brought it up. Pham, I've been saying Pham cannot hit anything besides first. I've been saying that for a long time now. I didn't know. Oh my God, I didn't realize his numbers were that atrocious. I mean, it makes sense once you start looking back on it, but man, it's brutal. But Javier, anything else you wanted to add to this before we take off out of here?
Hey, no bad. Hey, look, I appreciate your optimism. It's a good point. Like, if they just rip off a streak of some sort, you know what I mean? Because the other thing about this is it is baseball, and it is often a stupid sport. And what I mean by that is it's a sport that it's not designed for you to like be able to make takes. Literally, a team could play 3 weeks, and you might not actually, that might not even matter in the end. Like, this is the only sport where that happens. We're like, oh, the Padres are bad for 3 weeks, but guess what? And then they just beat all, like, it wouldn't be, if someone told you the Padres would lose to Miami, lose to Colorado, get no hit by a friggin' dude in his debut, but then still make the playoffs. Like, it's not inconceivable, because they could just rip off a bunch of wins against Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta's playing a little bit over their head. I don't think they are, personally. I think they're actually pretty good. Shout out Jorge Soler. Or maybe they beat San Fran. I mean, they haven't played San Fran a lot this year. Maybe there's a little bit of unfamiliarity. Maybe they're not going to know how to pitch them. Kevin Gausman has stepped back a little bit recently, although they have Logan Webb and 800 other good players on that team. But still, like, maybe there's hope that because baseball is baseball, they'll randomly step up and go crazy. I'm just a little bit worried about, I just wish that they had average guys. I wish that they had their own Nestor Cortez. If you guys are wondering, I'm on the East Coast. That's why I'm using Yankees references. I wish that they had their own Andrew Velasquez, Bronx native and Puerto Rican. Shout out to my guy. Love that dude. He's so much fun. Did you guys see that home run that he had where his like family was like crying, whatever? That was so cute. I love that. But like, hopefully you just have to hope that, guys just play average. Like, you have Tatis, you have Grisham, you have Machado, you have Musgrove. Like, I just don't want a Ryan Weathers thing. I'm so sick of seeing this guy give up 8 runs every appearance. Why can't you just be slightly bad? Why do you have to be the worst in the league? As long as the Padres basically just play up to their talent level on paper, hey, who knows? It could end up boiling down to like the last series of the season. I mean, this isn't the first time. And remember, like last year, the Giants, we knocked them out. Basically, they were about to be in the playoffs potentially if they won. I think it was 2 of the 4 games. They didn't, and then they missed the playoffs. We might have that situation where last season of the year, the Padres need to win 2 out of 3 against the Giants, and then that puts them at. It could be that close. But I do worry about the Reds. Just because it's not just the bats, but it's that pitching staff. I really like Wade Miley. I like that has the dumbest looking like mugshot I've ever seen. Not mugshot, but like his player photo. It's like he looks deranged and crazy. But I kind of like that team. I don't like that they didn't trade for anybody. But I guess that's just the Reds for you. So we'll have to see what happens. And Adam Frazier, I'm still looking for you, man. I'm still trying to figure out where you are. I heard they traded for him. I saw a report from The Athletic or Jeff Passan, I think, that they traded for Adam Frazier, but I haven't seen him just yet. So if anybody could get back to me on where Adam Frazier is, that'd be great.
We've been wondering that too. We've been talking a lot about Adam Frazier lately, actually. But Chase, Isaac, anything else you guys want to add before we take off out of here?
Chase, you want to go first?
I was just going to say, so the Reds game tonight got postponed, so they're doing a doubleheader against the Cardinals tomorrow, which I guess the best case scenario is the Reds lose one and win one, because it's either they lose one, and depending on how this series goes, it's going to be a 3-way fight for that wild card spot. Or if they win one, lose one, it's kind of like the Cardinals kind of stay in place, and we either make ground today since they don't play today, and we stay tied and keep the Cardinals away. If not, it's going to be like 3 teams with either like a 1 game back or half a game back of that wild card spot, which can be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm cool with a 1-1 split tomorrow. I know they got Sonnegar and Wade Miley going tomorrow. Now, Wade Miley's having an amazing year, and don't get me wrong, he's looking good, but look at his career stats. He's actually not that good. Yeah. He's actually
the same thing about Kevin Gausman.
That's the type of person that you see, and you don't mess with that guy. No, you're out at a bar, you're out at a library, you don't mess with that guy. That's all I'm saying.
He does look a little scary in that photo.
Of the street.
Yeah, no, he looks scary. Yeah, I said the same about Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman's starting to slow down a little bit, and everyone has that 1 year where everyone looks good. Not everyone, but people do have those years. Wade Miley's just having a really good stint right now. This is probably going to last the rest of the year. So, good for him, I guess, but I'm not necessarily scared of him. I don't know how I feel about that Reds team. I feel like they can be hot. They can be cold, obviously. This Padres team, though, I want them to be in a position at the end of the year where they control their own fate. So I actually would not mind if the Cardinals won both tomorrow, just because they play the Cardinals again this year, whereas they don't play the Reds again this year. So that's kind of a situation where they're still able to control their own fate if they're able to win. So obviously a lot of tough competition down the road. Hopefully this pitching staff is able to pretty much pick up where Blake Snell and Joe Musgrove have left off recently. Paddock needs to step up big. Darvish needs to step up big. Tatis needs to keep playing at MVP level. Cronenworth's kind of getting a little cold, but I have nothing but confidence he'll turn it around. Machado, and I think I was talking to Chase about this yesterday. I feel like in terms of the lineup, Tatis is an amazing cleanup hitter. Stats show that. He's even a better leadoff hitter, though. Jake Cronenworth is a better in the 3-hole. Manny Machado's, when he was in that MVP race earlier this year, was consistently bad in cleanup. So I think going away from that's kind of weird. And I think that might be a little bit of an attributed to why Machado's kind of slowing down a little bit. Also, that shoulder was an injury. So, regarding the playoff chances, though, I don't want it to come down to the Reds having to beat the Pirates in order for us to get knocked out, or say in a situation we have to beat the Giants and the Reds lose to the Pirates. I don't think that's very likely. So this Padres team needs to start winning so they can control their own fate.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. I want to say thanks again for coming on, Javier. And that's going to do it for us. Make sure to check out our stuff, Locked On Padres. And that's going to do it. So thanks, you guys. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.